Hi everyone. Today we are going to see and get a complete understanding about how the projects are going to build in the developer's system. As a DevOps engineer, we must know the basic understanding about how to build a project, being it as irrespective of language, in which language they develop. We should know how to build and how to take it to the server so that the application can run. So before DevOps coming to picture, developers they write the code and they test it in their local system. I mean their own laptop or their own centralized system. They will be handing over the code to the DevOps team to perform the compilation or whatever it is required for further levels. So the basic thing is we should know how to build the code so that we can take it to the next level as a DevOps engineer. That's what we're going to discuss today. So I already have a project which we can use it, and in your local system you can play with that project and see how to build the project. Then we will see how that can be deployed and see how the application look like. So obviously as a DevOps engineer we don't need to write the code, but it's better always to know how the code is written and how to compile and get it run in the local system. Obviously, this is done by the developer before he confirm if the code is working fine in his local system, right? So let's see. So I have a project here. I'm going to open this project in the VS Code. Let's say a simple project. This project is a kind of weather report showing in the web page where it will show the trend of last 30 days. This is my, I don't think it's a big deal. You can build it using a kind of chat GPT or Claude. If you give a prompt, it will generate. If in case if someone need the prompt, do let me know. This code has been generated. I'm opening this code in the VS Code. Now, if some of them who is not aware of what is VS Code, it's like a IDE, what you call it as a integrated development environment. The difference between Notepad and IDE is in Notepad, you won't be having, there are a lot of advantages using IDE. IDE is a kind of editor where you just go and edit the code, and there will be kind of auto completion, syntax error. There are a lot of things which will be highlighted while writing the code. So any developer, if you consider any developer, they won't be doing in normal editors. So they always use a IDEs. So in this case, I am using a VS Code. It's a very popular and open source. You can install in your system. In case if you need any help, do comment me. I can create a video on it as well. So you just say, as I already installed VS Code in my system, you can open the command prompt from the folder wherever you have and from the project. Just type cmd in the address bar. It will open the command prompt and just type code dot. Code is the command to launch the VS Code and dot is the present working directory. When you do that, it will open the VS Code and it will load the entire project what we have, right? So now this is my project. So in this project, obviously I didn't write this entire project. This is being generated. Obviously, in real time, when you wherever you join as a DevOps engineer, developers will be writing the code. Ultimately, our job is to understand how to take it, how to compile the code, and how to take it to the next level, so that you can perform the same activity as part of CI/CD. We'll come to that later part. For now, imagine that you don't have any servers, anything, no CI/CD, nothing. You just start as a DevOps engineer. You're sitting with a developer, trying to understand how to compile this project, how to generate outcome of this project, and that how to use that outcome and run and see the outcome in the browser. Yeah, that's what ultimately I want to see. So it is a simple website where it will just show the 30 days trend of the weather report for the London location. This is what has been coded. So now it is basically written in the Java. So in case if you need to understand how this project structure look like, I'm happy to do another video where I will explain you through the folder structure and everything, and we can go from there. So for now, this project has been created. Now, if you take any project which is written in the Java, we need to have a build tool. So what build tool does is, irrespective of how much code you written, it doesn't matter 1,000 lines, 10,000 lines, or 100K lines, it can go ahead and compile everything and give you the final outcome. Of course, without build tool also you can do that, but one file or two files, 10 files you can do it. But if it is huge, the number of lines and the number of files are more, it's very hard to do. That's where build tools will come into picture. So what are the build tools we have for Java project is currently we are using a Maven and Gradle. Any one of this can be used. For now, in this project, we have a both Maven and Gradle. For learning purpose, I included both Maven and Gradle. Any one will be sufficient. So if it is a Maven project, you don't find, if it is a Maven project, you will see only uh, these three files, no Gradle related files you can see. If it is a Gradle project, these four files you can see. If it is a Maven project, you will find only these three files. Now, let's take a step back. There is a dependency for this one. So if I want to compile this project, going to the next step now, we got a project, we import it into VS Code. Now the next step is I'm going to compile and generate an outcome, right? So to generate an outcome, first thing is I need to have a Java installed in my system. And again, when it comes to Java, it should be JDK only. So for that, I'm opening a command prompt and see java-version. You can see I am using OpenJDK 17015, which is the version I am using at the moment. You can use maybe 23, 21, whatever the latest version. Currently, I am using 17. So now, again, in case if you don't know how to install OpenJDK, please comment me. I'm happy to share. Or I already have a couple of old videos which I created for installing OpenJDK or Java in your Windows system. Feel free to refer it. If not, please do comment. I'm happy to share the video. Yeah. So as I confirmed here, I have a Java-version which is showing a 17.015. Let's open the command prompt. As it's the IDE, all the tools are available in the same VS Code itself. I don't need to do much here. So the first thing is I need to install some of the plugins here. Uh, those plugins are Maven because of we are using a Maven here, right? So in the project we are already having a Maven related files. That means those are used for compiling the project. I do have a Gradle related files. These are used for compiling a project as well. It's up to us what build tool you want to use. For now, I'm going to use a Maven. So for that, I already installed a Maven plugin in the VS Code. So as I installed a Maven plugin, you can see as I already installed Maven, you can see here Maven for Java. I already installed Maven. So that's where you see a Maven here, right? So within this Maven, if I expand it, you can see this is the project name. Within this project, you can find the life cycle. Within the life cycle, you will see a package. So this is what we need to run to generate a kind of to perform the entire compilation and generate an outcome of this project. So now what is this life cycle, and if you want to know more details about this, this comes under a Maven. You need to learn a bit more about Maven, how this works. So for now, I would say as it is about to we need to quickly run and see the project outcome. I'm not going into in detail, but I'm happy to create another video on Maven in detail. What is the life cycle? What is a pom.xml? You can see here pom.xml. What is mvnw, mvnw.cmd? All these details I can include as a separate video about Maven. For now, it is I have a project. I am having a build tool called Maven. I am going to perform a kind of compilation and packaging it. Packaging is what I need to perform so that I will generate an outcome of the entire project. So when developer write the code, they write all the files in a human readable format in a Java files. You can see here src main Java. You can see they created a file called weather controller.java. Here they write the entire code. Now what I'm doing is I'm creating a package. That package will have a class files. Class file is not a Java file. Class file is the file which is compiled version of this Java file, which is equivalent version of this Java file, which can be understandable by system. It can be understandable by only the system, not by human. So if I try to see what is inside the outcome of the project, you will understand more detail. But for now, I generated an outcome. Now you see here, I double click on the package. You see what it ran is, it ran the mbn clean package. I think that's what it does. You can see mbn package. It executed mbn package command. So as part of mbn package, you can see it generate an outcome in this folder. C colon users DevOps desktop. In the desktop, there is a project folder. Within the project, londonweather.jar. This is my entire project. Here I have a folder called target. Who created this target folder? Maven itself created a target and it kept an outcome of the project as londonweather.jar file. So this londonweather.jar is basically an outcome of this project which is stored in the target folder. By default, target is the folder Maven decide to place all the outcome of the project. When you run MVN clean package, any of the activity Maven runs, by default, whatever the outcome it generates, it's going to store in the target folder. So if someone asks about, what is an output folder for Maven, it's always target folder. Of course, this can be changed, but it's the default behavior is target. Within the project, you will be seeing a target folder. Within the target folder, you will be having a files. So out of that files, we need to focus on the main file, which is a jar file. So always Java project can produce a jar file or var file majority of the time, right? There is one more step. If you go further, there is a EAR file as well. So what is a jar? Java archive. What is a var? Web archive. So jar is the outcome of this project. There are some cases where you can see the var as well. If you want to know like who decided this jar or var and all those things, it's all depends on the project pom.xml. So you see here in the pom.xml, there is a packaging type. Packaging type. I don't want to get inside more details because this is something a Maven. So Maven, when you run it, it will read this pom.xml file and it will create as per the instructions what we have in this file. So pom.xml is always, if there is a file pom.xml, it is used by Maven tool. Yeah. Maven is the tool which is using this pom.xml and creating the outcome. So the outcome we got now. So now how this outcome can be used. So as this is a jar file, it's again when it is a jar file, there are two type of categories. I mean, jar file can be bootable. I mean, can run the jar file or cannot run the jar file. That means if you want to run, if the file is having the capability of startup all the requirements, then it is called a bootable jar file. Like, see, you got a zip file. Imagine it's a zip file. Within the zip file, you have all the startup capability and including, whatever it's required, everything is inside this particular jar file. That is called a bootable jar. So basically this entire project is created as part of the Spring Boot by using a Spring Boot framework. So this jar file is a bootable jar file. That means I can run this project, I can run this jar file directly to see the outcome. If it is not a bootable, I mean, if it is not having a boot running capability, then this can go into different project as a dependency. Okay, we'll talk about that later. I don't want to give more information and make you confused. For now, this is the file, which is a bootable file. Now you can see like, you know, how we can see whether it's a bootable or not. This is again, based on the pom.xml. The whoever is designed this project, they know very well. They create it accordingly. They create it according in such a way that this outcome can directly run or not, right? So in this case, I have a file which is a jar file. This jar file can directly run by using this command. If the file is bootable, I need to go to target folder and say java-jar file name. So outcome file is always there in the target. If you want to, you can take it to different location and do run, or you can just type java-jar command, then london-weather .jar. When you do that, this is going to start. You see here Spring Boot. Spring Boot is the framework which is included as part of the jar. Now it is started. Now as it is started, you can see here it is this particular jar file is having some kind of bootable capability, which is a Tomcat initialized with the port 8080. So as it's saying 8080, I need to go to browser and say http localhost 8080. You can see here, this is what the entire outcome of the project looks like, right? Now, this localhost 8080, this localhost is referring my local system, and 8080 is referring to on which port I am running at the moment. I mean the application when I run in the VS Code. When I run, it shows as 8080. In case if it doesn't show 8080, whatever it shows, you need to replace that in the browser with that respective port number. If it shows 8080, 8080. If it shows 8081, 8081. You can control this as part of the arguments also. So as part of the startup, if I press Control C here, it will stop. So this is the command, isn't it? So java-jar londonweather.jar. If I want to change the port number, there are some arguments which you can pass so that you can control the behavior of the startup. Say, for example, I don't like this port number 8080. If I want a different port, uh, there is some argument which I can use it. Spring Boot port change. So, as an argument. Default port is 8080. So we can change the port by passing some argument as this. Sorry. You can see server port 9090. In case if I want to change the port number to 9090, press up arrow so that you go to the previous command, whatever you executed, and paste this server port 9090. If you see now you will see the application will start on port number 9090 rather than 8080, which is the default. So this is how we overwrite any of the application behavior on the startup. But we can't change the entire functionality, what we have, but the kind of startup, how to start this application, this is how we verify. Now you go to browser, and if we hit 8080, it doesn't work. I'm going to take the same URL and put it in next tab and say 9090. You can see it here, it's last 30 days, the trend. And it is basically this website is connecting to Open Metro, a kind of free weather report API which serves. API means you can connect with this server, you can connect with this website and pull the information, right? So yeah, the data whatever is coming, I just designed it's all again not done by me as in step by step. It is just generated the code basically the input, whatever the outcome, whatever is coming from the API, it is presenting in a graph format for last 30 days. So in case if I want to change it, like I don't want to only for London, I want for all the locations, maybe you can have a drop down with all the countries, and then you can select it and show the same thing. So it is an open source. You can play with it. You can just go here and play with the APIs in case if you want to know more about. But this is how we start the application uh, in the local system. So imagine that's a developer. Developer will be having two things. Like I mean, say developer will be having their own system which is being provided by company. Most of the times, majority of the time, that can be used as a if you take ABC organization, within the organization we will be having a developer. This developer is going to be using a laptop, right? So so this laptop is secured. I mean, say this is issued by ABC organization, and this will be having all the rules like the firewall and all the whatever it requires. So in this, we will be having all the required applications like emails, like Outlook and Excel, Office, and all those things will be there. So in case if companies allow us to do a development, yes, we can install directly VS Code, Java, and Python, whatever you like, you can install it. With there, I mean, again, it's a kind of, who we can install it, whether you have a permission to install it or someone else install it for you. It's all based on what kind of permissions you have. Those are all things can be done. So this is the way like where people will directly install whatever they need and they work on. The other thing is they will be having a laptop and they will be having a somewhere kind of virtual desktop. Well, desktop. So this is where from the laptop they will jump into this system. This system will be having full administrator access with internet. Administrator access with internet. So and here you can install it as you have a full administrator access. You can install Java, Python, or whatever you like. You want to play with some other tools and any open source technology, you're happy to go ahead and play with it and do some kind of POC or anything on this particular virtual desktop. And again, this virtual desktop is something within the organization itself, but this won't be having that much, I mean, controls. Like this is been created for development purpose only. So that's where this virtual desktop, majority of the some organization, majority of the organization does this, where they will create a virtual desktop for every developer who joins into the organization. They will create a virtual desktop. Not only developer, there could be a DevOps, anyone who require non-browser related or non-email related activity with some kind of coding and additional permissions. That's where uh, kind of organization decide to have virtual desktop and they will give it, and you will remote desktop into the system. And again, if you don't know like what is remote desktop, from your laptop you can connect to this system. I'm happy to take a video on it. Please do comment me if you need more information. So this is how basically we run an application. So this is a Spring Boot application as I mentioned. So yeah, I think pretty much of this. This is the video, but in case if you need any more information, do comment in the video. Uh, I'm happy to share further. Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.